ladies and gentlemen, you know that I am for accountability. I believe that all students they need to be held accountable because if we don't hold them accountable, we do them a disservice. But it is true during my time as a teacher, yeah, I felt like students got off light and I criticized administration. Yes, absolutely. That did happen. And even serving as a principal for 7 years, yeah, there were times because I was an assistant principal. There were times when I did feel like my principal could have allowed me to do a little bit more in order to send that message to that student that their decision was wrong and these are the consequences. So that does happen. But I want to share with you this, as you see right here from Reddit and the teachers subreddit. Here we have an interesting one, and I want to discuss this and some of the decision making that goes into giving consequences in situations similar to this. So check this out. Here we have a bunch of seniors. Bunch. This is from his goatness, by the way. A bunch of seniors at my school got in trouble for plagiarizing using AI on their final senior projects. Am I a jerk for hoping they get a larger consequence? No, you're not a jerk. Well, let's see. At the high school I teach at, senior students have to do a bunch of various checklist items. One of them is an exit essay in which they detail what plans they have for after high school. Now, something like that, it seems like you wouldn't need to plagiarize or use AI for if you're speaking from the heart. These are your plans. But okay. So they were caught, many seniors were caught cheating or using AI in the essay, and all they had to do was rewrite their essays from scratch. So let me stop there and add I like that consequence. As a teacher, yeah, that I told my students, like, you're not going to get out of doing the assignment. Perhaps you'll get less credit, less points for doing the assignment, but you're not going to get out of the learning. Okay. So I like that. I like the fact that they had to do it. That's a good consequence. That's solid. I love it. They literally face zero punishment. Now, I disagree. I disagree. I think that in their minds they were probably thinking, I'm done. I don't want to do anymore. Just get me out of here. Just give me my consequences and I'll just go on my way. No, you're not going to escape this. You're going to do the essay that you were assigned. You're holding them to a certain extent. You're holding them accountable there, and that I don't think that that's something to be dismissed. Like, that is a consequence right there. I'm not saying they shouldn't be able to graduate, although I do sort of think that, but realize how unrealistic that punishment is. And that's good. There's always that other side of us that just we want to go all the way. We want to send that message, but thankfully this person realizes, okay, that's a little bit too much. But they shouldn't be allowed to walk at graduation or something. Am I just a bitter person? LOL. Or are we at my school teaching these kids it's okay to cheat and be dishonest? And see, I don't think that's the case. You're teaching them to cheat and be dishonest. I think that definitely having that conversation with the students that goes a little something like this. Hey, you're about to be making your own decisions. There's no one's going to tell you, like, hey, the bell rung, it's time to go to this class, and then after that you go to this class. You're going to be making more decisions on your own. And what you did here is you made a bad decision, and here's why it was a bad decision. Now, you are going to complete this essay. You're going to do it the right way because that's what we do here at XYZ school. You just really frame it like that. Talk about the core values here at this school and how that's going to help them to be successful long after they've graduated. That's how you frame it. Now, I get it. I get it. There's some of you out there that you're still not convinced. You're thinking, you will know. You know what? Why can't we hold them back from walking. This is a serious offense. Yes, it's a serious offense. You um, there can be some severe consequences for plagiarism. That is correct. But let me point out these things for those of you who are thinking, well, I don't see anything wrong with holding them back from walking. Check this out. This is the thing right here. Your principal has to, if you were to prevent them from walking, if that was the ultimate consequence, who's taking the heat for that decision? That's right. The principal has to take the heat for that decision. The principal is going to take the heat from the parents, from the community members, from the media. And let me tell you about the media. The media, it won't, the story, when it's written, it won't be mean teacher won't let kids participate in graduation ceremony. No, that's not going to be the title of the story. It's going to be administrator, evil administrator will not let these poor kids walk at the graduation ceremony. How dare they? Because you know how they add some of that on the titles of the articles. They add some of that commentary and opinion on the back end of the title of an article. You see, they don't want to talk to you, the teacher. Now, forgive me if that comes off as a little rough, but it's just they don't want to talk to you. They don't want to talk to you. They want to hear from the administrator. They want to focus on the administrator because it's more it punches a little bit more. It attracts the eye a little bit more when it's about the administration, the principal, those who are going to have to take the heat. While you, although you support the decision, you get to sit back and you don't have parents, community members, members of the media in your face asking you about this, having to deal with a group of people protesting, possibly disrupting school. You don't have to deal with that. So please keep that in mind. The principal is going to be the one who has to take the heat. And you also, you know where also heat can come from? Heat can come from above, from outside of the building, from assistant superintendents, from the superintendent themselves. So that's a lot of heat. That's a lot of heat. And principals, we don't like taking heat from outside of the building above our head. We like to take care of things in house, keep everyone happy. Although not everyone's going to be happy, not everyone's going to be pleased with every decision that is made, and that's just a fact of life. Now, also with this, I want to add another thing to you. Add another thing here. I think what makes this decision kind of an easy one is the fact that, well, in my experience as a principal, we looked at things in terms of increments of time, whether that be a week, um, a month, day, how much time do we get to XYZ break. Let's say, for example, a student got in trouble on a Tuesday. We'll get together and say, okay, let's look. We want to suspend the student, but let's look at the calendar, and then let's look at the offense and kind of see how we feel. So if we say, okay, you're suspended uh, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then we go into the weekend, and oh, also after the weekend is spring break. Okay, so then that student is away from school, so they have more time to cool off, and so hopefully they'll come back with a new attitude. So then there, we landed on, okay, this student is suspended for 3 days, and then we've got that extra time in between the suspension and when they come back. So hopefully they've got a new attitude when they come back. So that's the kind of the way we look at things when we're trying to make a decision. So in this situation, the kids were coming to the end of a school year, coming to an end of a school year. So obviously, we don't want that smoke of preventing them from participating in the graduation ceremony, and that's just a lot of heat. We don't want that. So we go through our minds and think about, okay, how do we get how do we get them to their last day of school, but also we send the message that, hey, this is not okay. And so I think for me, I think I would land in the area of, um, hey, you're gonna owe me, you're gonna do the assignment, and you're gonna owe me some lunch detention, maybe some community service between now and when you graduate, or something along those lines, so that we have a level of, some sort of restoration, some sort of proving that, okay, I made this bad decision. Now I'm going to turn and go the other direction. I'm going to show that now that I'm thinking different. So now I'm going to find a way to serve the community, to prove that in my mind there's been a transformation that has taken place. I'm moving. I made this decision here, but now with my actions I'm moving and I'm turning away from that decision and that thinking. That's where I would land. That's kind of where I would land. So you got caught cheating. So now, between now and your last day of school, we're going to you're going to do that assignment, and we're going to use that time to serve the community, and also help you to think differently about the decision the decision that you made. We're gonna try and eradicate the thinking that went into that poor decision by how we serve the community. So that is that's kind of where I would land, um, as an administrator. And just, again, just keeping in mind, it's just not reasonable. It's just not reasonable to hold them back from graduating, from participating in the ceremony. It's not reasonable to do that here in present day 2025. It just, no, that wouldn't work. Wouldn't work. So I think the next best thing is to, yeah, get them to do the assignment, and then work with them on thinking differently. So let me know what you think in the comments section. I'm excited to hear from you on a case like this. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.